Hello friends, welcome to my new video about very important reasoning questions of blood system. And very soon I will also upload a new remaining reasoning questions of the blood system. Plasma protein helps in maintaining the acid-base balance in the body. So plasma protein acts as a buffer and contribute for about 15% of the buffering capacity of the blood. Now, because of their amphoteric nature, the plasma protein can combine with the acids and base. For example, in acidic pH, the N-terminal group of protein acts as a base and accepts proton, and it is converted to ammonium ion. Then in alkaline pH, the COOH group of the protein acts as acids and can donate a proton, and so it becomes carboxylate ion. And at normal pH of the blood, the protein acts as acids and combine with the cations, mainly sodium. So in this way, the plasma protein helps in maintaining the acid-base balance in the body. G6PD deficiency causes hemolysis. So enzyme G6PD that is required for the formation of NADPH, which in turn maintain the glutathione in reduced state. Now decrease in the concentration of the reduced glutathione that damages the RBC membrane, and then it produces hemolytic anemia and also inhibits the killing of the bacteria by granulocytes and thereby predisposes to severe infections. Now sulfonamides and antimalarial drugs can also produce G6PD deficiency in normal individual. So in this way G6PD deficiency causes hemolysis. Question is, plasma protein helps in maintaining the systemic arterial blood pressure. How? So the resistance to the flow of the fluid at constant velocity through a capillary that depends almost entirely on viscosity of the fluid and the viscosity of the blood. So that is a main factor in maintaining the peripheral resistance and thereby the arterial blood pressure. So in this way, the plasma protein maintains the blood pressure constant by maintaining the viscosity of the blood. Plasma protein helps in maintaining the viscosity of the blood. Now the answer is the viscosity of the protein that depends upon the shape of the protein molecules mainly and the size of the protein molecules. Less the symmetrical the molecule, like fibrinogen, the greater is its viscosity. Now since 80% of the total plasma protein concentration that is due to albumin and the fibrinogen that is present in traces, and blood viscosity is maintained at low level. Normally the viscosity of the blood is 4 to 5 times that of the water. Plasma protein provides stability to blood. So stability of the blood that is due to presence of the plasma proteins like globulin and fibrinogen. If the blood loses its stability, it leads to Rolex formation of RBC. Now what is the Rolex formation? Rolex formation means the RBC pile one over another. Plasma protein helps in immune function. How? So gamma globulin that produce antibody, and so in this way, because of the presence of the gamma globulin, plasma protein helps in immune function. Plasma protein plays a beneficial role during starvation. So plasma protein that form a loose bond with the hormone, drugs and metals to serve as reservoir from which the same are released slowly. So in this way, the plasma protein plays a beneficial role during the starvation. Why hemoglobin is contained within the RBC is advantageous or beneficial. So if the hemoglobin was dissolved in the plasma, that is also known as free hemoglobin, and free hemoglobin, it would leads to increase in viscosity of the plasma, hence of hold the blood, causing blood pressure to rise, and increase in the osmotic pressure of plasma to 100 millimeter of mercury. So increase in viscosity of the whole blood and increase in osmotic pressure of the plasma that interfere with the mechanism of the fluid exchange between the capillary and tissue spaces. And if the hemoglobin remains free in the plasma, then there is also a loss of the free hemoglobin by the kidney in the urine, and it is known as hemoglobinuria, and that results in a kidney damage. And also the free hemoglobin that is taken up by tissue macrophage system and also rapidly destroyed by tissue macrophage system. What will happen if the glutamic acid in beta chain of adult hemoglobin get replaced by valine? It produces a variant of sickle cell hemoglobin which is inherited as Mendelian dominant. One glutamic acid in each beta polypeptide chain of adult hemoglobin at position 6 is replaced by valine. When the sickle cell hemoglobin is reduced in condition like hypoxia or low pH, it becomes much less soluble than adult hemoglobin, and hemoglobin precipitates into crystal within the RBC, and that damages the cell membrane and producing increased fragility of RBC, and crystal elongates and the RBC becomes a sickle shaped, which decreases the blood flow to the tissue due to phenomena of sickling. And above all this causes RBC to become more fragile, producing a severe anemia, and that is known as sickle cell anemia. And finally, the patient dies in a few days due to severe anemia and secondary infection. Now in children, the hemolyzed sickle cell aggregate and block the blood vessels, leading to infarction. Infarction means stoppage of blood supply. The infarction is common in small bones, and the infarcted small bones in the hand and foot that results in varying the length in the digits, and this condition is known as hand-foot syndrome. If the fetal hemoglobin persists during the adult life or persists after the birth, what will happen? Fetal hemoglobin that disappears 2 to 3 months after the birth. If the fetal hemoglobin persists beyond the age of the 4 to 6 months after the birth, should raise the suspicion of the disordered synthesis of adult hemoglobin due to deficient production of alpha and beta chain, and that is also known as alpha or beta thalassemia respectively. Spleen is known as graveyard of RBC. So when the cell becomes older, means about 120 days, the cell membrane becomes more fragile, and diameter of the capillary is less or equal to that of RBC. Younger RBC can pass through the capillary very easily. However, because of the fragile nature, the older cells are destroyed while trying to squeeze through the capillaries, and the destruction occurs mainly in the capillaries of red pulp of spleen, because the diameter of the splenic capillary is very small, so that the spleen is known as graveyard of RBC. Biconcave shape of the RBC is advantageous. So biconcave shape of the RBC is advantageous because Biconcave shape that helps in equal and rapid diffusion of the oxygen and other substances into the interior of the cell. And it also provides larger surface area for the absorption or removal of the different substances. And minimal tension is offered on the membrane when the volume of the cell alters. And because of the biconcave shape, while passing through the minute capillaries, the RBC squeeze through the minute capillaries very easily without getting damaged. So these all are advantages of the biconcave shape of RBC. RBC count is less in young females compared to males of the same age. So because in female the estrogen that decreases the hepatic synthesis of globulin, and second is it depresses the erythropoietic response to hypoxia. And also in females, there is a loss of the blood during menstruation. So because of these all reasons, the RBC count is less in young females as compared to male of the same age. RBC without a nucleus can carry out its normal function for 120 days. How? So RBC depends entirely on the glucose metabolism for its energy supply. And glucose is transported easily across the cell membrane by facilitated diffusion. Although the cell has no mitochondria, but it has cytoplasmic enzymes for metabolizing glucose and other substances and for utilization of oxygen. As this metabolic system becomes progressively less active with the time, and it limits the lifespan of RBC. So in this way, RBC without nucleus can carry out its normal function for 120 days. Sickle cell anemia leads to hand-foot syndrome. So in children, the hemolyzed sickle cell aggregate and block the blood vessels, leading to infarction. Infarction means stoppage of blood supply, and this infarction is common in small bones, and the infarcted small bones in hand and foot that results in varying length in digits, and this condition is known as hand-foot syndrome, and jaundice also occurs in these children. At high altitude, RBC count increases. So it is due to hypoxia. Hypoxia is the most important stimulating factor for the erythropoiesis, and it stimulates the erythropoiesis by inducing the secretion of erythropoietin from the kidney. Recently, it is found that the production of the erythropoietin during the hypoxia that involves a transcription factor called hypoxia inducible factor. Hypoxia inducible factor, it is one of the transcription factor which activate the transcription of the gene to produce substance including erythropoietin from the proteins, and this factor sends the reaction of the cells to hypoxia and in turn increases the erythropoietin production. So erythropoietin that stimulates the erythropoiesis. So in this way, at high altitude the RBC count increases. Then deficiency of folic acid leads to megaloblastic anemia. Folic acid that is essential for the maturation of RBC, and it is required for the synthesis of DNA. In the absence of the folic acid, the synthesis of the DNA decreases, that causes failure of the maturation, and this leads to anemia in which the cells are larger and appear in megaloblastic stage, means pro-erythroblastic stage, and anemia due to folic acid deficiency that is known as megaloblastic anemia. Vitamin B12 deficiency that leads to pernicious anemia. Now vitamin B12 that is essential for the synthesis of DNA in the RBC. Its deficiency leads to failure in the maturation of the cell and reduction in the cell division. And also the cells are larger with fragile and weak cell membrane that resulting in macrocytic anemia. Deficiency of the vitamin B12 that causes pernicious anemia. So vitamin B12 that is also known as anti-pernicious factor. Pernicious anemia is also known as destructive or injurious anemia. Treatment of the pernicious anemia with vitamin B12 that prevents the further progression of the CNS lesion but cannot reverse the damage that is already done, and changes in the stomach remain unaffected. So that's why this anemia is also known as destructive or injurious anemia. Thank you very much.